Welcome to this tutorial from Logic Scripts on the two scripts KeyBoZones Pro and RemapNinja. I'll not yap so much, I'll go straight into showing you KeyBoZones Pro. First off, I show you the script, or the settings rather. Sorry, wrong script. What KeyBoZones does is it divides your keyboard into a number of zones where you can set different settings for note transpose and MIDI channel output. And you also additionally have the choice between also attaching the CCs to the respective zones, or to leave controller changes untouched. This pretty much means that if you are, if your current note is being played in zone 1, then whatever control change you send, or control changes you send, they are also then being sent to the MIDI channel that you set for that zone. Okay, but before you hit run script here, the in-script settings are not too frightening. It's just this one basically. It's the number of zones you want to divide the keyboard into. You could theoretically set this very high, all the way up to the total number of MIDI notes, but I mean that will probably never ever happen. You could also change this maximum here, which I've set as a sort of a fail-safe or a safeguard. That's it, pretty much. You run the script. Now, what I like to do is I use this Rickenbacker bass a lot. I think it sounds really great, and but I like to mix the picked one and the palm muted one, and I like to sort of play it live. So what I have here is I have a multi-output instance of Contact with the picked one loaded on MIDI channel 1 and the palm muted one on MIDI channel 2. Okay, now to play this the way I like to play it, I'll just change the zones to 2 because I have enough stuff to think about here, trying to make a tutorial for you in English without having an extra zone to sort of distract me. 2 zones, that will be fine for this tutorial. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to play, your basic rock bass stuff, pretty much set with just 1 octave. So I'll put a split in at E2. So now if you pay attention here, I'm playing E1 and E2. Everything is still normal. Everything goes to MIDI channel 1 and to the picked bass. What I want to do is to have everything E2 and up go to the palm muted bass on the second MIDI channel. So we'll set this to -12 and set the MIDI channel to channel 2 for the higher octave. So now I can do stuff like that. This is pretty much what I use it for. I don't have a lot of outboard gear or a lot of stuff, a lot of plugins, but this is the reason I wrote the script. But I think it could probably be pretty useful for you guys too. Straightforward. I don't expect there to be any updates to it ever, unless somebody comes up with a really good addition in terms of, not terms, in way of some more options. I just couldn't think of anything else that I wanted to add to it. Okay, now the sort of broader of KeyBoZones is the Ninja. It does something similar, but this one is a little bit more complicated because you have the option in Ninja to, well, I'll show you the script and the setting first. Okay, what Ninja does, it remaps either note to notes or CCs to CCs, and you can set custom names for your outputs. You don't have to remember, you know, that the IndieFolk hats open is this and that MIDI note. You can just pick it here in the drop-down menu. The settings in the user so the settings inside the script are the note-to-note remaps total, the CC to CC remaps total, whether you want the LED or meters, these ones here, to be displayed. If I just show you what I mean, if I play E1 here, then that should light up, etc. Then you have the option to show MIDI in, and that's actually not just showing MIDI in. Once you have this set to 1, the show MIDI in acts as a filter. So if this is disabled, then you have any incoming E1 in this case will be remapped according to the settings. If you have show MIDI in, then it will only remap the channel that you have chosen here, MIDI channel. So note MIDI channel in. This one is pretty, or those ones are pretty straightforward. Now the output, okay, there's one more setting here. There's the trace remaps. It's basically if you want the script to display a bunch of information on what's going on. It can be pretty annoying, so you can set it. I've set default to off actually. Now in the second part of the settings, you can enter your custom output maps. This is only to make things easier. You know, if you have a couple of instruments that you want to remap to, you don't have to look at a chart. You can just, you know, you have to do a little bit of groundwork beforehand, but if you set it up all up in here, because there's instructions here how to name everything, so, then you have an easier time once you want to get to work. And the custom entry note, you have the equivalent of that for custom entry controller changes, so you can set up the same thing here for instance, if you have a key switch on your instrument that you want to remap to. The reason I have this IndieFolk right here set up is because I happen to have the map of it handy at the time I was writing the script, but it's just an example. I mean, you can set up anything up here. And you'll probably want some dividers or ornaments, and I've just made it so that you set it up with note number 999, and then you can set any nonsense there. It will never try and remap anything to that setting. And also, I think, if I don't remember, this is quite a while ago I wrote this, I think you can't accidentally choose an ornament or a divider. It will automatically then jump to the next actual note or actual CC. Okay, let's say we want to run this. I want to learn the note to remap. I check the learn button, play a note, then uncheck it, then it learns the note and the channel incoming, and then you can choose to remap it either to your custom maps, or you have the generic maps for your regular note names. And exactly the same thing, but for control changes. So if I press my little sustain button here, then uncheck this, it should go to sustain. Pretty straightforward again. I forgot to mention that. No, I forgot what I forgot to mention. I really don't remember. Probably not very important. No, I honestly have no idea what I was going to say. Pretty much it. I am planning on a version of RemapNinja that mixes these two as well, so you can remap note to CC and vice versa. That will be version 2 sometime in the not too distant future, but it's quite an undertaking to write that. Yeah, that's it. RemapNinja and KeyBoZones Pro. Let me know if you have any questions or any suggestions. If you want any functions added, I'll definitely always reply to your emails or your comments if you have any. Well, you know where to put them. And come to the store, get some scripts. There are some free stuff or free scripts there as well, which are quite useful and fun. And I have a bunch of, okay, I won't exaggerate, I have a handful of scripts almost ready to go, but I just haven't had time to finish everything. But I have some cool stuff coming up, so drop by the site every once in a while and let me know how you're doing with the scripts you bought and downloaded, if you're using them and if it's working or not. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye bye.